Okay, guys, next up are the stars. Hopefully, by the time you've done the boxes and those letters, you're starting to get a feel for how this works. Again, I'd like to remind you, I'd like you to use your ruler, but I'm going to go over how to do these stars. I'll freehand it, but I want you to use your ruler. Here we've got our eye level line, here we've got our vanishing point. So all lines from the points of the stars that are on the side facing the vanishing point will make converging lines to the vanishing point. So for instance, this star here, this is the example in the worksheet that I gave you. Here's that worksheet that I gave you. You'll see how that works. You can look at that closely on your computer, and you can watch here. So you can check a point and just kind of pretend to draw. Like if I start from this point here, you see this line here, there's no reason to actually draw it because it won't show. Same with this point, it won't show. This point, it won't show. But this one will and this one will. So we want to draw the lines really only from the points of the side facing the vanishing point that will show in our final drawing. So this one will, that one will, that one will, this one will, and if I were to continue out, I'm not going to. Now the way I've drawn this star, this one actually won't anymore because I didn't draw this star, I didn't draw that angle at the same angle as that, so that's actually not going to show, but so no big deal. And then this one will. Now the next thing I want to do, again, is decide the depth. Over here, I'm just going to pick a spot, and remember, with these stars, none of these lines are horizontal and vertical, like on the boxes or the letter L or the letter E. So all of these lines, when we make the depth part of the extruded star, we simply want the line to be parallel to the line that it goes with. So this angle here, parallel. This angle, I should probably come down a little more. This angle here, parallel to this angle. This angle here, parallel. And in some places, that line will barely be seen. Let's do a little light shading to kind of show how deep this is. One thing I like to do when I do the little shading, I don't know if you picked up on it, I like to make these boxes be a little bit different value so I can have some contrast to edges. One of our little tips for shading is to create contrast to edges. So there's that first one. So I'm going to do a few of these, and hopefully you're grasping this concept. Now this one here, I can see that line. This line's already on that eye level line. This one here. This one, I wouldn't see it. This one I would. This one I would not see. This one I would not see. This one I would. Not a lot, but a little bit. This one I would not see. So I'll decide my depth and make parallel lines. Again, these don't need to be horizontal and vertical. They just need to be parallel. Now this one I wouldn't see, so up here I'm just going to come finish this by coming over here and making a parallel line about the same depth as that. Same over here. I've got that coming in. I'm going to make a parallel line at about the depth that would go. Because a little bit of shading. So I'm going to move through this relatively quickly. I'm not necessarily going to do every single star. I'm hoping that at this point, after the boxes and the letters, you are grasping the concept. Don't need it, don't need it, don't need it, don't need it. This one would show through. Decide my depth, parallel line, parallel line, parallel line, parallel line. And again, if you want to erase these lines to make them look dotted, I'm cool with that. Just don't get rid of them altogether because I do still want to see your converging lines. another one. This one I would see. This one I would see. This one still makes it. This one does too. This one does. This one does a little bit. No, 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 no. So decide my depth, parallel line, parallel, parallel to that, parallel to that. That I don't need to really worry about. Like to make contrast to edges. Make some dotted lines. Ta-da! Okay. So I think that's enough of a demonstration. I'd like to see you figure out the rest, which points should and shouldn't actually start to make it over towards that perspective. So the point of these stars is it shows you how you can do individual objects that are just kind of randomly in space and not fixed into a layout like a street. So this shows you how you can do other objects. All right, have at it.